Welcome to Cyber Bites, your weekly dose of cybersecurity news. I'm your host, Edwin Kwan, and today we've got a packed episode covering the latest threats, scams, and developments in the digital world. Let's dive right in. We'll start with some concerning news from Down Under. The Australian Signals Directorate has just released its 2023 to 2024 annual cyber threat report, and the results are alarming. Over the past year, Australia has seen a significant uptick in cyber threats. The Australian Cybersecurity Hotline received more than 36,700 calls, marking a 12% increase from the previous year. Even more worrying, the ASD responded to over 1,100 cybersecurity incidents, with 11% of those targeting critical infrastructure. State-sponsored cyber attackers, particularly from China and Russia, continue to pose a significant threat. They're not all government secrets. These actors are targeting Australian businesses and critical infrastructure for espionage and potential disruptive attacks. But it's not just nation states we need to worry about. Cybercrime remains a persistent threat, with business email compromise and fraud topping the list of reported cybercrimes. In response to these escalating threats, the ASD has been ramping up its efforts. They're collaborating with over 119,000 Australian organizations through the Cybersecurity Partnership Program and have expanded their cyber threat intelligence sharing platform to over 400 partners. The message from the Australian government is clear. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility. The Deputy Prime Minister has emphasized the need for all Australians to play their part in protecting the nation's collective cyber security. Now, let's shift gears to a particularly nasty type of scam that's making the rounds. Cybercriminals have found a new way to bypass email filters and deliver sextortion scams directly to inboxes. These scammers are exploiting a weakness in the Microsoft 365 admin portal. They are abusing the share feature within the Microsoft 365 Message Center, which is typically used to share service advisories. Here's how it works. The attackers use browser developer tools to bypass the character limit in the personal message field. This allows them to enter the entire sextortion message, which then gets delivered as if it were a legitimate Microsoft advisory. As a reminder, sextortion scams typically claim to have compromising videos or photos of the recipient and demand a ransom in Bitcoin to prevent them from being shared. If you receive one of these emails, remember, don't panic, don't engage, and definitely don't send any money. Report the email to Microsoft or your IT security team immediately. As we approach the holiday shopping season, cybercriminals are gearing up for their own version of Black Friday deals. A new phishing campaign attributed to the Chinese threat actor Silk Spectre is targeting e-commerce shoppers in Europe and the United States. These scammers are setting up fake online stores that mimic popular brands like IKEA and North Face. They're using clever tactics like typo squatting, registering domain names that are similar to legitimate email commerce sites. And they're also geo-targeting to make their fake sites appear more credible. What's particularly concerning is that these scammers are integrating real payment processors like Stripe into their fake sites. This gives the impression of a legitimate transaction, making it even harder for shoppers to spot the scam. To stay safe this holiday shopping season, be cautious of the deals that seem too good to be true. Double check the URLs of any shopping site you visit. Avoid clicking on links in unsolicited emails or messages. Use strong, unique passwords for your online accounts and enable two-factor authentication wherever possible. Remember, if the deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Speaking of scams, a recent expose in the Sydney Morning Herald has shed light on the inner workings of a sophisticated global scam network. This report, based on interviews with former scammers, experts, and victims, review the psychological tactics these criminals use to manipulate their victims. These scammers often portray themselves as friendly, trustworthy individuals who genuinely care about their victims' financial well-being. They exploit people's hopes and fears using techniques like social engineering and emotional manipulation to gain trust and extract money. The scamming process is disturbingly well organized. It starts with recruitment, often through online advertisements or social media. The impact on victims can be devastating. Many lose their life savings, homes, and even their livelihoods. It's a stark reminder of the importance of staying vigilant and skeptical online, especially when it comes to unsolicited financial advice or investment opportunities. Now let's end on a more positive note. Google is reportedly developing a new feature called Shielded Email, designed to enhance user privacy and combat spam. This feature will allow users to create unique, disposable email addresses that forward to their primary email account. By using these unique addresses, users can significantly reduce the amount of spam they receive and minimize the risk of their personal email addresses from being exposed in data breaches. In addition to shielded emails, Google has also introduced Android System Key Verifier. This tool enhances the security of messaging apps by verifying the authenticity of encryption keys, aiming to prevent man-in-the-middle attacks. These new initiatives demonstrate Google's commitment to strengthening user privacy and security in an increasingly digital world. It's a welcome development in our ongoing battle against cybercrime and privacy invasions. And that wraps up this week's episode of Cyber Bites. Remember, stay safe and stay skeptical. And we'll see you next week for more cybersecurity news and updates. This is your host, Edwin Kwan, signing off.